So now, UC Berkeley once again. Police just caught, oh my gosh, we just couldn't believe how these crowds they just got so out of control. We're only a city known for the entire generation, almost for all living memory, as one of the most prone to riots by middle-class white people and other assorted exotic people of the Bay Area. But mostly these were the pedants and that community around the schools. So it just, after a while, it's like, no, this is just cliche now. Oh, did the leftists riot again? And the police were unable to stop. It just got so out of control. Because they can't figure out the people who are in black bloc should be kept away from the people whose faces are exposed who are going to an event. A completely legitimate event. My whole thing is, there's that part of it that you first kind of get a little angry about it, but now I'm at this stage that I see it from just a different altitude now. That it's a contiguous exposure of who they are. It's a contiguous exposure of who you are. You contiguously choose violence. You got trounced so bad over the last 15 years on the internet in all forms of debate. Jim Medeker fucked your mom so hard, and you couldn't keep your eyes. You couldn't take your eyes off of it. Your sister loves his fucking podcasts, and it just makes you so angry. No, you're these women who just are the socially problematic people who you try to, oh no, it's, there's no violence on the left. We see nothing. Now you see that it's, holy shit. Like, this is one of these things, like, a lot of women are going to have to come to an understanding. No. At some point, you're going to make it clear what you think is right and wrong. You will. And that's when he will leave. That's when he will know, oh, fuck this. This is never going to be worth it. And there's many, many ways of testing people for this now. The right knows. There's certain questions that, just the way certain responses are. The nose ring. And the nose ring, that always helps. I like when women decorate themselves, but I know. I just know now. And that's another thing now about all of you on the left, is now we know. Now there's no debating it. You all will turn to violence because you can't win the arguments. We really crush you with just raw, naked fact. And here's the big part of it. It works logically. See, nobody really gets this concept of, like, Indra's diamond net. The diamond net sutra. The Tao's as a net is vast, but nothing escapes its lines. This idea that there's the pattern, like a net, everything is caught in, nothing escapes the pattern of reality. That's the whole thing with logos and logic. Then you get harmonia, where things just kind of all come together in this perfect way that they work. We offer that. The right wing preserves that and offers that. The long traditions of understanding this and being able to learn the skills to then duplicate it. You on the left have now our discord itself. Your violence, discord, chaos, rape, robbery, open bigotry, and there's no way of getting around this now. All we have to do is offer logic and a pattern to life, which is not hard because that's a part of tradition. That's a part of cultural tradition, the wisdom of a culture. It's not even something that needs to be regimented. It wouldn't make sense to try to regiment it. That's why militaries are the way they are. They're their own separate order. Family life and the orderliness of family life is decided by a family and within the family. So you guys don't really get that the entire inherent kind of the aspect of just, well, hey, life can be chaotic. Sometimes you just got to be chaos people and ride life as a highway and ride it all night long or something, rock and roll, hootaloo. That's not going to work. It hasn't. It actually has failed so much that we kind of have your side of politics. You have your people in the society who you're chaos people. And anything that you do in an orderly process, you could say, well, no, but you see, and then, well, but yeah, because you're doing that in an orderly process because that makes sense to do it that way. It can't be accomplished another way. That's a part of knowledge. Charlie Kirk bested you guys. That's it. You're losers. Charlie Kirk beat all of you. None of you can get the same level of popularity. None of you could take people on as well. When you try, it's almost hilariously bad. It's even now the worst area of it is honestly the black liberals. I mean, just now it's just people just spiraling into race mysticism and wacko-ness, and they're just and the problem. All of these people on the left don't get. We know it won't work for you because you are violating logic. At some point, somebody's like, okay, well, but you say this, and then you said this, and then there's this idea. But you see, those don't follow. You see, and then that's it. You have to ostracize them. And you guys do this all the time. You ostracize people. It's really nasty how you guys do it. Yeah, it's real nasty how you guys do it. That's like one of the most kind of fascinating aspects of it, is how I'll just be sitting there just like, man, when you guys turn on your own, holy shit, do you turn on your own? Like, wow, full on mafia style, just, yeah. And, but yeah. So, how you guys, Tulsi Gabbard's going to ruin you guys. And you deserve it. You deserve that one of your own former people is going to ruin you. RFK is going to be a big part of the restructuring of the way that medicine works. And this idea of health savings accounts and other things that are really fundamentally like you're putting in what you want to a guaranteed account by either an institution or the government itself in some way, which most likely they're going to be like, no, this has to be done through institutions. But this also is going to make a lot of these banks in a very specific way beholden to the government for certain standards that they're going to have to maintain. You're going to have to be able to pay these out. Yeah. You can't just not pay on them. That's, you can't just suddenly restrict what they draw out. There's going to be terms, but then it's just going to be this no. And at a certain point, if they're meeting these terms, they get to withdraw the money and spend it on these things. Now, one of the key things about something like a health savings account, as this gets negotiated, I guarantee you we're going to see something coming up about the use of cryptocurrency. I wouldn't be surprised if the health savings accounts eventually become linked in some way to Tether or something like that, Tether would make a lot of sense. Being that the government does seem to be trying to make buttress Tether for a big release as a kind of digital currency to use. And what it'll be is that it'll probably be that the government's going to use Tether very often in many, many, many cases, and so as to make it a useful currency, and that's how the government will pay certain things, maybe even between departments, who knows. But the other thing I was thinking about with this is that Tether could then end up being something that, if there was welfare, that Tether would end up being what you would use for welfare payments, and so therefore you really would be able to restrict what it's used for. Because of course that's the fear of crypto coins, is that, and that, but this, and we'll see, because we'll see what happens. This weird cult of women commanding the students to violence and encouraging it. This weird thing of like this really bizarre thing of like these very kind of strange. A lot of black podcasters on the left, a lot of these guys are kind of weird. Like, yeah. Like, they seem to have sort of better command of a lot of the language and such like. But, I mean, they as well, it's like, it's small words, not very complicated concepts, a lot of just blame whitey. And then this kind of weird, convoluted thing of the like envy that other groups have, and what I'm also seeing this is in parallel on TikTok. There seems to be a reprisal of the Noble Drew Ali's black people were everywhere on the planet shit. And universal Negro, that kind of stuff. Original man, that's I forget which mystical race group. So now the left has associated with it mystical racism. That they have a positive mystical racism cult. And the thing is all mystical racism has it has to be a counter narrative to, and then what? Oh, everyone. It has to be a counter narrative to the Edda. It has to be a counter narrative to the Bible, to all kinds of apocrypha. Remember, they just claim that they are the ancient Babylonians. They just claim that they are the ancient Egyptians. So therefore, they could just either take a history or erase it. And it's just one of these things that now that this has popped up, it's really like this thing like, okay, once you've gotten there and you have a party that is so into using the state coercively, which now we're exposing this. This is just volumes. This is going to be a study. Is what the Democrats have become. It's fascinating. I'm really like, wow, that's some good criminal behavior. That's top shelf. That's top shelf shit right there. You can't write that, yeah, villainy that you can't write if you were to try to come up with it. But it's just like Erik Hoffer wrote, it's just become a mass movement now that depends upon violence and beggary. You give or we burn your fucking this down. And there's just nothing that's not politics anymore. You're going to just have to try to win that war, being people who you made clear you also can't feed yourselves. You made that clear. Yeah, I mean, like, so much of this is like you did that, though. We see you on social media. You did that. We know this because you said so. Like, you said that, not us. And so it's going to be a very the Republican Party now, really, with how the Democrats folded on this, because the Democrats had to. I really did think, like, no, that they're even remotely smart about this, they will, if they're even remotely smart about it, they're going to nail it out. The Republicans got it. I mean, they just have to, all they have to do is really point out, none of this has ever been a crisis. It's just that for some reason you can't get this party to discuss things frankly, with candor and honorably. And that all their sources tend to be sources that they've ginned up that are not credible. Because I've walked through this over and over again. And then there's the pathological hatred of men. And that's it. I mean, that's the anchor around your neck that's going to take you down. Oh, and it's going to be about a decade, because you can't change. You can't change that. That it's a fundamental aspect of the modernist part of that you have to depend on. The liberals have to be modernists. They cannot go back to a classical time in any way, shape, or form, or they refuse to. Even acknowledging phonics is a good idea. That you can't even get them to acknowledge phonics is a good idea. That this isn't going to hold. The center will not hold. And now Berkeley has shown what side is collapsing most quickly to its most extreme, that just go out and bludgeon people repeatedly with the help of the police. That's that. Eventually, the youth will want order. And then there's, I believe, if I remember correctly, approximately 500,000 across all forms of law enforcement, federal, local, state. There's about 500,000 of these young men who are going to be getting through their academies, and there's all these departments that absolutely need them. And that's just for law enforcement of various types. And then there's the military. And this is odd. What is this? Oh, somebody, some kind of show or something. I don't know. I don't know about music nowadays. Yeah, it was that. Then there's all the men who have joined the military, and at a certain point, it's like, no, you're not going to have. We've seen you guys. You can't feed yourselves and you need meds. This isn't going to hold out. But it's going to be chaos until then, unfortunately. All right, talk to you guys later.